Manchester City really don't like playing at Tottenham. And it looked as though for a long time the game was going to end 0-0 and City's woeful scoring record at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was going to carry itself into another replay. But they managed to get a late goal from Nathan Ake as they managed to score their first goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, making them proceed to the fifth round of the FA Cup. But anyway, guys, it's your boy Izzy back at it again with a review of Tottenham's home game against Manchester City in the FA Cup as they lost 1-0. If you're new to the channel, please, you know what to do. Hit that like and the subscribe button to let YouTube and everybody else know that you are enjoying this content. On to the game now. Manchester City have a very poor record at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It goes without saying they haven't won any of their last 5 fixtures over there. They haven't scored any of the goals over there. And so today's game seemed as though it was going to be a big mental hurdle for City to get over, just as in the same way whenever any other team faces City, sometimes they have to get over the mental hurdle of having a terrible record against them. But City seem to always get irritated whenever they face Tottenham. We saw it earlier this season when they drew 3-3. Kulusevski's last-minute goal was able to save Tottenham. But today, City started this game with an impetus that let you know that they wanted to put that record straight. So after the first 4 minutes, they scored a goal from Oscar Boab, but he was adjudged to be offside after some very good work from Kyle Walker over on the right-hand side. City's impetus kept on pushing, and a few minutes later, I think it was Bernardo Silva had a shot that was saved pretty easily by Vicario, and a little bit later after that, Oscar Boab had an opportunity that was blocked off the line, and it was cleared by Pedro Porro, who was urging the Tottenham fans ahead as he felt, his performance was pretty good at that point. But City were on top of Tottenham for the better part of the first half. And Tottenham, for as good as they were defensively, they seemed as though they were lacking something in attack. Kulusevski was not very obvious in the game. Richarlison was causing a nuisance of himself, but pretty much because he was trying to hassle and harry the defenders rather than to be a goal threat. And Johnson was okay, but he didn't really get into the game much. So Manchester City controlled most of the game, but Tottenham were very comfortable in defense. That's something that was a recurrent theme throughout the whole game. So as we went into the second half, Tottenham needed to show some more nous and they needed to attack Manchester City a bit more. And in the 52nd minute, Brennan Johnson actually had a very good opportunity after some good work from Udogie over on the other side. His ball managed to get Johnson, who the ball had overran him a bit, and so that put him in a position to where he was either going to have to take a first-time touch or to try to take the ball around Ortega in the Manchester City goal. He opted for a first-time shot, which was saved by Ortega, and that was pretty much Tottenham's best chance in the whole game. Tottenham were not very fluid in attack. They were very good in the midfield. They were okay in defense, but they just didn't seem to have that cutting edge. And so eventually, Postecoglou decided to bring in Maddison, who hadn't played a game in 2 months. And you kind of saw that he didn't have as much game fitness because he didn't really push Tottenham on in the same way that Manchester City's De Bruyne and Doku, who also came off the bench, did. So Manchester City kept on quietly controlling the game, and Tottenham seemed as though they wanted to just hit them with a 1-2 punch that never really seemed to come to fruition. By the time we got to the 80th minute, Bernardo Silva had a shot that was saved. He probably could have done a bit better in trying to angle his shot, but that kept on showing us that Manchester City were in it and they did not want this to go to a replay. They still have to defend their treble, and whilst they're not in the Carabao Cup, they are going to have a lot of condensed fixtures. So they were trying to make quick work of Tottenham in the last 10 minutes, and they thought that they probably were going to get a winner when Kevin De Bruyne managed to latch on to the ball after some poor defensive play by Højbjerg, but he was closed down by Van de Ven, and he managed to kind of put him off, pretty much leaving him with only the near post, which the shot went wide. So at this point, Manchester City could probably be forgiven for thinking it's going to be yet another goalless game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So a few minutes later, Doku was set free over on the left-hand side. Him and Porro, who since his arrival were having a bit of a tug-and-go war, managed to tangle each other, and Porro managed to get back in time to get the ball out for a corner kick as he also roused the the Tottenham Hotspur fans to try and get them all the way through the game. Now, it was from the resulting corner that Manchester City were able to attack. Vicario was being blocked on the line, and this has been something that has been the subject of much debate recently about the protection that goalkeepers tend to get. But in this instance, I don't think it was a foul, and Vicario was able to softly punch the ball away, didn't really go too far, and Nathan Ake was able to get the ball over the line. And there you have it. That was the only goal of the game. Manchester City scored their first goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it must have felt like a huge sigh of relief, because this is a stadium that really causes Manchester City a lot of problems. It doesn't matter which form they carry into the game or which form Tottenham carry into the game, they always seem to struggle. And overall, Manchester City struggle against Tottenham. Surprisingly enough, I think I read a stat where they had only won 3 of their last 10 games against Tottenham. So this is a fixture that Manchester City always tend to struggle in. They managed to get into the 5th round. Probably even better news for Pep Guardiola is that his longtime nemesis, Jurgen Klopp, is going to be calling it quits at the end of the season for Liverpool. But he might want to rouse himself to a big battle, because I do think that this is going to be much more of a problem for him than it is going to be a solution, because I do feel as though Liverpool are going to really give it a go for the Premier League title. Now, whether or not you think that they're fully baked for the course, which I think they are, I still have Liverpool as slight favorites, and I had them as slight favorites even beyond all of the noise that has happened today after Jurgen Klopp had announced his departure. But I bring this into question because this is going to make any potential clash that either are going to have in the FA Cup interesting. It would be great to see what would happen if you have Liverpool with all their gusto trying to go up against Manchester City in, a semifinal or a final. I hope they don't meet each other before then, because that would just be it would be hard. It would be box office to see Pep Guardiola against Jurgen Klopp. Pep trying to go for a repeat of the FA Cup, and Jurgen Klopp, of course, trying to sign out. But that's all we had for this game. Tottenham were okay in good parts of the game. Defensively, they didn't really offer too much attacking wise, and that's where the problem that they had today lay in. They definitely missed Heung-min Son, and Kulusevski didn't seem as though he was 100% in there, and Maddison is still half-baked. So on the other side, Manchester City keep it moving. They finally break the mantle duck of losing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium all the time, but now whether they're going to be able to do that in the league is a different story. But as it stands, 1-0, another good FA Cup. I was a bit vexed because they put the Chelsea game and the Aston Villa game at the same time as this one, and I was wondering why they would schedule something like that today. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and as usual, please make sure to like and subscribe. It's been your boy Izzy, and we will catch each other on the next review. Until next time, peace.